Let me ask you something simple. You locked yourself inside a room. No windows. No connection to the outside world. Now think. Does everything outside still happen the same way? Does the sun still rise? People still move? Of course they do. Reality doesn't stop. Just because you are not looking at it. For a long time, even science believed the same. Everything had a fixed state. If something is here, then it is here only. If something is moving, it follows the same path. But then, scientists started studying things so small, and suddenly, reality is behaving differently. Confused, right? Like you and me, one curious scientist, Erwin Schrödinger, was trying to understand why these tiny particles are behaving differently. Then, he saw something strange in the equations of physics. They were saying, these tiny particles don't have just one state. They can be in many possibilities at the same time. That didn't feel right. Because in our world, some things are either this or that, but not both. So he came up with a thought experiment, not to prove it was true, but to show how strange it sounds. Imagine a closed box. Inside, there is a cat. Also inside, a tiny mechanism controlled by a random atomic event. If that event happens, the cat dies. If it doesn't, the cat lives. Now here's the question. Before you open the box, what is the state of the cat? The cat is both alive and dead. If our theory says a cat can be both alive and dead, then maybe our understanding is incomplete. Now, just stop the imagination. There was a real experiment that showed this behavior. Scientists fired tiny particles through two narrow openings. If particles behave normally, they should go through one opening or the other. But that's not what happened. When no one tried to measure their path, they created a pattern like waves, as if they passed through both openings at once. But when scientists tried to observe which path the particle took, the pattern changed. Now it behaved like a normal particle. But some scientists weren't satisfied with this. They asked, what if everything happens, but in separate versions of reality? In one version, the particle goes left. In another, it goes right. In one, the cat lives. In another, the cat dies. This idea sounds extreme, but it solves one problem. Reality doesn't depend on observation. Everything already exists. We just experience one outcome. Now here's the important part. All of this didn't stay as theory. It helped us understand something fundamental: how light and matter interact. For example, when you take a photo, light from a person hits your camera sensor. Tiny packets of photons interact with electrons. Those electrons move, and that movement becomes an image. This works because we understand exactly how energy is transferred at the smallest level. We knew these principles long ago, but we couldn't control them well. Over time, we built better materials, better sensors, better ways to reduce noise, and slowly, our ability to capture reality improved. The same understanding is now being used to build quantum computers, ultra-secure communication, more sensitive sensors, technology that works at the level where reality itself behaves differently. So what does all this mean for us? Not that reality depends on us, but that Understanding reality changes what we can do with it. The world didn't become clearer. Because reality changed, it became clearer. Because we understood it better. A strange idea about a cat in a box. An experiment with two tiny openings. A theory about many worlds. All of it quietly shaped the world you live in. Not by changing reality, but by helping us finally understand it.